Sometimes we can find an Easter egg in a game only to come back to it to find that it was completely removed, either because of censorship, it simply wasn't meant to be found, or even because of other much more mysterious reasons. Today we're diving into 5 discovered Easter eggs that curiously ended up removed and disappearing, never to see the light of day. Brought to you by Dashlane. Battlefield 5. Although mysteriously removed Easter eggs are a fairly uncommon occurrence, an especially baffling case went down just last month in Battlefield 5, after a wild discovery was found by YouTuber Danny on PC. With the help of several of Danny's friends, they found 4 mysterious plates atop 4 random ruins on the game's practice range. By getting all 4 friends to stand on all of the plates at the same time, they triggered an ominous noise with no linking as to what it was at all. After a brief moment of confusion, one of Danny's friends noticed a hammer prompt on top of one of the towers and had this totally appropriate reaction.
Ooh.
What?
Challenge accepted.
What did you do?
Challenge accepted.
At this point, the Easter egg only became more and more bizarre, as in true Fortnite fashion, the players began to build a series of staircases into the sky in seemingly random directions, before realizing they had uncovered a complicated maze puzzle towards the heavens that increased in several phases of difficulty the further that they proceeded to climb. Along the way, if you can imagine, things became even more strange and intense as random mines would suddenly appear and disappear. Obstacles would have to be blown out of the way, and even aircrafts came flying out of the sky to take down players. Eventually they figured out that some players could focus on taking out the planes, while others focused on building and navigating the staircase puzzle further. And to make things even more excruciating, the stairs would slowly deteriorate over time behind the player, meaning if they ran into a dead end, they basically had to start all over. Along the way, they came across a number of puzzling discoveries, including a pair of headphones not particularly high in the air, which they found would randomly generate Morse code, but usually only as a single letter or digit, which didn't seem to mean anything to anyone. Players continued to climb upward and onwards, uncovering more and more that the perplexing Easter egg had to offer, eventually with some players getting thousands of meters in the sky, striving to finally reach the puzzle's ultimate goal in the heavens until finally, a patch was released and the Easter egg was completely removed, and has not been seen since. A few days after, Danny on PC reported that DICE had apparently never meant the egg to be found in the first place, that its appearance was apparently the result of a bug. Okay. Evidently, the staircase Easter egg wasn't actually complete and wasn't intended to be found the way that Danny uncovered. The larger speculation, however, is that DICE was apparently dissatisfied at how quickly players were solving the egg, and quickly patched it out before players uncovered the staircase's final secret. Weeks later, players found if they were to destroy a random wall on the map, all the missing plates could be found floating inside, making things more confusing, as if it was just an attempt to remove the panels from the map, why weren't they placed under the map or in a location that wouldn't be readily accessible or seen? Players are still wondering what lied at the top of the mysterious staircases in the sky, as well as whether or not if the Easter egg ever actually returned to the game. As for all we know, the Easter egg has been placed back in the game somewhere left to be found, just with harder to find conditions than ever before. Whether or not we'll actually find that Easter egg now or ever know what the staircase truly had in store for players to find is a mystery still left to the sky. Tower Unite. Previously, you may recall a recent mystery I discussed in the Steam massive multiplayer game Tower Unite in my video Strangest Areas Never Meant to Be Found Part 2, where players found a mysterious tunnel floating out of bounds underneath the game's lobby, before it was later patched out and moved to a harder to reach location. Well, it turns out this hasn't been the only instance of something weird as hell showing up out of bounds in Tower Unite, as a much eerier, far more horrifying discovery was made on the game's original server, back when the game was still called GM Tower. I learned about this highly confusing mystery when the Simple Potato submitted this video to me through my website oddheader.com. In the mysterious footage uploaded by a YouTuber named Greg in 2015, Craig managed to use a glitch to clip through the wall and out of bounds, where he found a mysterious and completely random bulletin board sitting in this normally inaccessible spot. After apparently activating the board, the game appears to teleport Craig to this unbelievably creepy environment. According to Craig, he was using Fraps at the time to capture the footage, which I can attest to, as I'm sure many others can. Fraps was crap, which may explain why the software happened to crash on him just as he was catching whatever mysterious figure lies around this corner. and after looking at it for some time, I still have no idea what the hell that is. When Craig uploaded the video, players found that Craig's glitch did work, but could not find the bulletin board, leading many to believe that the discovery was a hoax, which prompted Greg to disable comments on his video after being harassed about the validity of the discovery. However, what makes matters significantly more eerie in all of this is that after word got out about the mysteriously vanished bulletin board on the game's forums, a number of players came forward saying that the bulletin board did indeed exist, reportedly only in Lobby 2's first 2 days, with some players even going as far as providing screenshot evidence of the bulletin board in the same exact out-of-bounds spot, which was viewable by any player who got high enough in the air. Given that a bulletin board has been confirmed to have once existed in this out-of-bounds location in the game, players are still confused why the bulletin board was removed, and if it really had such a horrifying outcome when activated, with many suspicious why somebody would fake something with such meticulous effort to no payoff. One possible explanation I got from my friend Doom Dude from my Discord is that it may have been a cancelled alternate reality game that would have led players off of the game and into the real world searching for related clues. Is it possible this was originally an Easter egg or an alternate reality game that was cut after the developers realized it was too dark for Tower's world? Is the mysterious out-of-bounds tunnel in Tower Unite somehow connected to the vanishing bulletin board? And will we ever see a return of the incredibly dark environment that Craig once found himself in? One thing's for sure, there's some pretty weird stuff going on here for a game where you primarily play putt-putt with your friends. Resistance, Fall of Man. There's a few things about this one I personally don't understand. Thanks to a few commenters such as Laneface, John Oliver, and Jose Merritt, I was told of an out-of-bounds mystery in the original Resistance Fall of Man. Apparently, if you were to get out of Somerset and traverse an enormous route along the background of the environment, you could find a random teddy bear sitting outside the map, which unfortunately I only have this shoddy footage of. More on that in a second. What made this teddy bear particularly confounding discovery at the time is that when Insomniac was asked about this by ShackNews.com, they appeared to be legitimately at a loss at how the teddy bear got there, with Insomniac's chief brand officer Ryan Snyder stating, "I personally have no idea how that teddy bear got there. I really don't." Further explaining that Insomniac spent an enormous amount of energy and resources to discourage cheating and breaking out of bounds in their games, even proposing that they were the first to ever develop an online anti-cheat system for console, so he certainly wouldn't expect anyone to incentivize getting out of bounds and counteracting all their hard work with something so pointless. The crazy thing for me is when I went to find the teddy bear for myself for a cleaner capture, the teddy bear was completely gone. I realized I had bought the greatest hits version and thought maybe it had been patched from later copies. Nope, even after getting the original version, it was still missing. I tried starting the game with internet off so nothing would patch in, nothing. They even reformatted the whole system. Still nothing. No idea how Insomniac got rid of this thing so well. My only guess is that there was a security exploit involving this game that made Sony introduce a firmware update into the PS3 at a certain point. It makes me think Insomniac could have been involved with that update and maybe they went ahead and annihilated the bear as well. Damn, they really hated that guy. Tekken 3. Players diving through the files on the arcade version of Tekken 3 found assets relating to a character called Saki, while the removed character was a mystery for a long time. When questioned about this in an interview by Retro Gamer, game producer Katsuhiro Hirano revealed originally Kuma was planning to have a giant salmon as a weapon, and that Saki was originally said fish as a secret character in the game, who would only flop on the ground no matter what button the player pressed when played as. The reason it was removed was because it was dumb as f***. The developers quickly realized as an arcade game, if anybody paid any money and ended up having to play as a fish that literally just flopped on the ground, they'd likely be pissed. Needless to say, I think they made the right call on that one. Devotion. In probably the most unusual example of the year, US players were confused how the seemingly solid first-person horror game Devotion was suddenly met with an overwhelming influx of angry reviews days after release. Turned out it was because this random scroll on the wall in the game actually hid an Easter egg message in Chinese and Taiwanese characters, apparently calling current Chinese President Xi Jinping Winnie the Pooh, as well as calling his mother a moron. Ouch. The Winnie the Pooh reference originates from these mostly light-hearted memes comparing China's president to Winnie the Pooh in similar stature, which President Xi apparently found so unfunny that he banned the recent Winnie the Pooh movie from Chinese cinemas, and press photos for Kingdom Hearts 3 had to appear like this in Chinese media. Taiwanese developer Red Candle Games claimed that the Easter egg was actually a mistaken placeholder art asset from an unfinished part of the game that got left in the final build. That seems to be a common theme on this channel. In response, they quickly patched the offensive scroll out with a generic Happy New Year's message. However, many Chinese players weren't buying it, as data miners who scoured through the game found many additional Chinese mocking messages, such as the fact that the game's cult was referenced in the files as China, and the cult's leader was referenced in the files as the People's Republic of China. Yeah, there's no getting around that one. 6 days after Devotion's release on February 25th, Red Candle Games removed the game from Steam to assure that no other hidden messages still remained in the game. Then, just last month in July, Red Candle announced that they had no plans to re-release Devotion in the near term, but would reconsider re-releasing it if the public would be willing to view this game rationally. And while it seems completely ridiculous that so many Chinese players have come to the defense of their president looking like Winnie the Pooh, some players have pointed out that Steam never gained official approval to operate in China even though it already has over 30 million users, which meant that many Chinese players likely saw Red Candle's Winnie the Pooh Easter egg as baiting a potential government threat to China's Steam access altogether, which would have actually been quite a heavy price for China to pay for such a little Easter egg, which we all know wouldn't have been pretty. But in my personal opinion, I think Xi Jinping might have to grow a pair and learn how to take a joke. I mean, dude, let's be honest. You do kind of look like Winnie the... Thanks again to Dashlane for making this episode possible. Just as none of these developers ever wanted these Easter eggs to be found, you may be just as concerned of your own sensitive materials being discovered and leaked out into the world. Don't forget that Half-Life 2's beta infamously leaked to the public a year before release just because somebody managed to crack Gabe Newell's password. And there were some pretty awkward discoveries made with that, which may be why you'll want to save yourself from the same embarrassment with the extra level of security that Dashlane provides. Dashlane can be your one-stop shop for your digital identity by managing all your passwords so that you don't have to keep track of each one. Dashlane works across all devices, including Apple products, PCs, Android, Safari, and Chrome. Dashlane also has a secure autofill feature that works for personal information and credit cards, saving you when shopping online. A VPN to prevent prying eyes from tracking and help you access content anywhere, plus dark web monitoring to see if your information is being bought and sold illegally. To give it a try for free, go to dashlane.com/oddheader and use my promo code oddheader to get 10% off if you want to upgrade to premium. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe. And if you know of any other Easter eggs that mysteriously disappeared from a video game after it was found, let me know in the comments down below, come join the Discord, follow me on Reddit, or submit to oddheader.com. Shout out to Acryl Gamer Mexicano, Alexander Knight, Dan Duvale, Daniel Lopez, Dead Plastic, DJ Boombringer, Down with System D, Emery, I Fart in Elevators, J-Day, Nestude, Nick, Pestilent Sleeper, Riley S., Renee Gade, Select, Spencer, Towerizer, and Wade Murdoch for their Patreon support. Stay tuned.